Welcome back to Next Level Rides. In this episode, we have another broken N54. And not just oily, leaky N54. This one is having a coolant problem. It's a little bit of a unique one. We've got a 535 XI. Now, car overheats for some reason if you go on a longer drive, if you go uphill. So it started to sound really bad. Now, he has changed a whole bunch of things. He's changed water pump, thermostat. He's done a pressure test on the coolant system, bled it multiple times, plus. So he's done a lot of things and still he can't figure it out. So he left it with me to try and diagnose it, and we'll just kind of go over the basics and progressively get into more complicated diagnosing of this vehicle, and hopefully we can figure it out for him. So first things first, I did end up topping up the coolant system. It was about 700 mil low, so that will play a factor. After topping it up, we're gonna run it through the bleed procedure and then go from there. As you guys can see, oh wow, why is it pressurized now? That's weird. I did top it up. I just want to double check, make sure it didn't randomly bleed down or anything. Yeah, see, it's, even the stick is meant to be, I think, like an orangey red, and for some reason it has green. I don't know if it's gonna show you, so I'm gonna kind of maneuver my head in certain ways. You can see that the coolant is blue, but there are sparkles and flakes in there, which lead me to believe that a stop leak at some point was used. I do think that he said the previous owner just let it overheat continuously, and BMWs are not the cheapest things or the most reliable, but you can't continuously just let it overheat and think that it's gonna fix itself. So we're gonna hold our foot on the throttle, 2 clicks. Now make sure that the fan speed is as low as it can go and temperature is the highest. You can probably hear that the thermostat is going. Ignore all the faults and the blinking lights. That's a whole other issue. But you can hear the water pump ramp up. So you can hear it at first, and then usually it goes for a bit of a break, and there you go. So far it does sound like the water pump is okay, so I think that's at least gonna be going for him. But for here, as it's bleeding, let's just crack this open just a hair. So what I normally do is have it kind of floating in between there. I don't see a bleed screw, so usually just leave that a little bit loose. And what we'll do, this will take about, I don't know, 5-8 minutes. We're gonna let it bleed and then move on to the next step. Second thing we're gonna do, we're gonna pressurize the coolant system. So we're gonna try and match the cap here to one of the many caps we have inside here. Now I believe that looks like it's too big. I'm pretty sure blue is for BMW. Kind of looks like it. So let's see. Yep, that's it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this cap here. We're gonna twist this one carefully in here until it stops. And then we have the port there. Now for here, we have this setup. So it has your Schrader valve. You essentially put it right on top here, and pretty well, you're gonna pressurize it probably to about 15 roughly. Maybe we'll go a touch over 15, we'll see. Oh, look at that. We already have a leak right from here. And you can see pressure is already starting to bleed down. What's going on? Holy shit. Yeah, we got a bad coolant hose, ladies and gents. You can see it's pouring out and it's not holding pressure. So normally you would want to hold it for 5 minutes roughly, but yeah, it's been what, 10 seconds and we're already down almost 2 PSI. So let's bleed the pressure off. And this is a perfect example of, they already did a pressure test on the cooling system. They said it was fine. And another reason why I say you need to check it yourself or have a trusted shop, because it's obviously leaking. I need to find my pick. You know, I keep saying I need to clean my bench, but I did clean it maybe a day ago, and then it's back to this. All right, so we're gonna pop this clip here. Oh, well, First and foremost, it's pouring out of there, which is weird. And the O-ring is, I think, damaged. I don't see anything of concern necessarily. Sometimes you can just massage them and they're okay. Now, if you work on a BMW and you want to save yourself a bunch of money, just get yourself 2 of these. Your regular rubber ones, which is what we're looking to replace, or you upgrade to a Viton, which is a lot stronger and handles the temperature better. So, because it's an overflow, we don't need anything super crazy. I think this is gonna look like this one. Not quite. It's 12 by 3, maybe it's a 13 by 3. Yeah. So what we're gonna have to do here is try and walk it. We're gonna try and walk it into the Okay, well, good thing I have multiples. So let's grab another 13 by 3 and try and not drop this one. Let's maybe at least put it over here. Try and just poke it in with my finger so it doesn't have a chance to drop out. Now, that's obviously sharp, so let's find something a little softer and round. So let's maybe use our trusty 8mm. And all we're gonna do while Eric holds the light is just roll it around to make sure that it gets in where it needs to be nice enough. Rock it around a bit. Now, same thing, we're gonna pressurize it. It's still leaking, hey? Still leaking, hey? What? Why? I think that hose might be toast. Either that or this coolant reservoir is a cheap China one. I mean, it says the German stuff on there, but in some cases what can end up happening is the fittings might not be 100% for what you're looking to do. Yeah, see, the O-ring is still there, but for whatever reason, it's leaking. Let's pull this O-ring out. Yeah, the only other option we have, we can use a slightly smaller one and try and stretch it out a bit, and then hopefully when it constricts, it'll constrict on the pipe. I'm gonna give this one a shot and we'll get back to you guys. So I did put an O-ring in there. Now let's try and slowly walk it around. This one feels a lot tighter. And then as soon as it's there, wiggle it a bit. Yeah, that is a lot tighter. And you know where we're going. Pressurize it again. Huh. I mean, so far so good. I don't see any leaks. We're gonna go right up to 15. I don't know about you, Eric, but...
Tony, you're a genius.
Thank you, sir. It's been what? A couple minutes, and it's just slightly under 15, which is acceptable because it can leak a little bit through some of the seals, but I don't hear any dripping. I don't hear anything to be of concern. What I usually do is I'm gonna leave this for about 5 minutes, and as long as it's within, I'd say, a PSI, we should be good to go. 15 is a bit more than most vehicles would end up having for pressure in the coolant system. For BMWs, it's hard to say, but 15 would be a pretty good indication if we have an issue or not. You will expect, and they normally say after 2 minutes, that if there is no appreciable loss in pressure, that it's fine. I wait 5 minutes as an extra peace of mind. All right, that's been long enough. Same thing, hasn't gone down. I would say that was a success. Now, because we did end up losing a little bit of coolant, what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen the cap. We're gonna get rid of the pressure. We're gonna top it up, run it through its bleed procedure again, and see if it's good. What we're gonna do now that it's all nice and bled and everything, we did our checks. We made sure that there's no pressurizing of the system to where it's going to be pushing out of the O-ring. It's holding pressure, and moment of truth, we're gonna take for a test drive and just monitor it with Pro Tools. So what I'll end up doing is I'm gonna use this MHD universal dongle, monitor it with Pro Tools, and see how warm it gets over a bit of a drive. So coolant temperature at the OBD is 212 Fahrenheit. Raw output value, this is going to show you the voltage, and then radiator output, and then cooling water temperature. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to borrow his cell phone mount, and we're going to drive it around and see if it overheats. Coolant temperature at the OBD is going up fast. 221, 223. One thing we're going to have to test and see is if the rad fan comes on. If the rad fan isn't coming on, then that might end up being a problem. But it's not abnormal for the coolant temperature, I think in my 2 Series, to be 240. I think 244 is where it kind of cruised around. So the radiator output is 209, which is good. Coolant temp on the OBD, I'm not sure exactly what that is. I mean, it went down to 221. So I think we might be okay. Now, whether that's the thermostat opening or the fan working, I guess we're going to figure it out. Coolant temperature of the OBD went down to 217, which is good. It's kind of fluctuating in between. That's sort of normal. Radiator output, 206.3. Coolant water temperature, 219. Yeah, so far so good. Maybe we'll put it in sport mode and give it a little bit extra load, a little bit extra RPM, see if it does anything. Okay, so we're cruising 4th gear. Same thing, 217, 205, 218. So it's gone up and back down a couple times. So I'm assuming either the fan has come on or the thermostat is cracked open. But this so far is looking very promising. So we'll jump on Stony, get a little bit up to speed. This is kind of the telltale when the cooling system isn't pressurizing. It starts to overheat and it starts to creep up as you're driving above about 100 kilometers an hour. So we'll leave it in 5th gear. We'll see if this is going to do anything to it. You can see it's already 219, 206, 219. So we'll see. If this ends up dropping back down, I think we're in good shape. All right, we're just coming back to the shop, I guess we'll call it. Look at all those broken BMWs, minus the orange one. That's Eric's fancy automobile.
What a nice car.
What a nice car. 150. Who'd have thought? Man, unbelievable. This is going to be the final one. Pretty good for everything. 224, 211, 225. Bear in mind, we did drive it pretty hard on the highway. We left it in sport mode, so it only targets 5th gear. It was like 3,500 RPM, so it was getting a little bit warmer, but well within the temperatures that I would expect to see. So we're going to shut this off and take a look at inside the engine bay. I don't know about you, Eric, but that looks bone dry now.
Looking good.
You got a little bit of pressure. Ooh, it's hot, but it's not like rock solid. I'm gonna call that a win, and I think it's gonna be fixed. Of course, time will tell when summertime hits and he goes for a bit of a drive. So far so good. Okay, do you have anything to say?
Trust Tony.
Trust Tony. As always, feel free to like and subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Look at that thing. It's broken, but it's a good engine. Oh, gross. That actually worked out really nice.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cheap too. We should have.
It was like
we should have did this when we had the Forester.
no. Your Forester was right. Like to add context, his Forester, the hoses would get rock hard, and as a result, this would smell like exhaust gases. It was literally a cracked head gasket on a Subaru, which they love to do, pressurizing the coolant system, causing the problem. This would not have saved your car. No, my nose didn't lie for that one.